Hello.
Savannah, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. We mentioned cause marketing as conversion rate optimization strategy in our talk with John. We mentioned it a couple of times throughout some of the earlier sessions on influencer marketing, on brand partnerships, and we're certainly even going to talk about it some more tomorrow with my interview with David Perry, the CEO of Caro. So I'm really excited for you to talk about what cause marketing means to you. And of course, I'm a huge fan of Shopping Gives because it is the platform for ensuring that your business has a social cause that it can be tied to. And of course, this is the future of social media for e-commerce, and cause marketing, I think, is a cousin to social media in a way, right? It's not directly related, but then once you launch a cause marketing campaign, it's going to proliferate your entire brand. And for that reason, I think it ties in perfectly to everything that we've been talking about here today. So with that said, I'll let you take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much for such a wonderful intro. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. So as Derek mentioned, my name is Savannah White. I'm the head of partner success at Shopping Gives. We are a social impact commerce platform focused on lowering that barrier of entry for any brand to take part in social impact. And today we're going to go over how your brand can take a 360 social media approach to an integrated social impact strategy, and a couple of the ways that you can bring social impact into your social media space as a brand. So to begin, I want to touch on why it's important to be thinking of giving as a brand in this day and age. As I'm sure many of you know, or could even potentially relate to, there's a new generation of consumers who is buying with their values and voting with their wallets. So Gen Z and millennials are micro philanthropists. They're agents of change. They are incredibly focused on their beliefs and passionate about them. And they're now demanding that brands are doing more than turning a profit. It's no longer a nice to have cause marketing. It's really important for brands to create and advocate for change on behalf of their customers. So Generation Impact has a massive buying power, and retailers are currently spending over $20 billion in digital advertising to acquire and retain these consumers. However, less than 1% of them actually activate on cause marketing. Reasons why, of course, vary, but historically, cause marketing has been a bit more difficult to enter into with high minimums from nonprofits in order for retailers to participate, have left both smaller nonprofits and smaller retailers behind. It can feel inauthentic at times, and then of course, it can be difficult to measure back to bottom line as well. So that's partially the reason that we created Shopping Gives. We're democratizing cause marketing and helping retailers of all sizes increase customer loyalty and lifetime value through our suite of cause marketing technologies. At the end of the day, we want to make giving as seamless as possible so that brands can focus on the good that they are doing as opposed to how to go about doing good. So throughout this presentation, I'm going to touch on a bunch of different tactics that you can use as a brand. But a lot of them will center on the activation of donating a portion of sales on behalf of your customer to a number of different causes. To do so, there are a couple things that you need to know as a brand when you're launching into donating a portion of sales. The first is that you have to register and file the correct agreements. These vary from state to state. From commercial co-venture, there are certain solicitation agreements that you have to have registered and filed away. So it's important to get that covered so that you're able to donate on behalf of your customer. Secondly, you have to be transparent with your customers and share the amount that will be donated on their behalf. It's not enough to say net profits. It kind of leaves the customer in the dark. So you want to make sure that you're actually sharing that impact because they want to know how much is being given on their behalf. And it's an exciting thing to bring them in on. So make sure to show the dollar amount pre and post purchase. You also need to get permission to use names and logos. So just as you as a brand would probably not want a customer to use your name and logo in any of their marketing, nonprofits have the same protection. So if you're working with a nonprofit directly, you would want to get permission to use their name and logo. And finally, keep records of your giving in case of any auditing. Also for tax benefits, you're able to deduct and write off those donations. So you want to make sure you have detailed records of the good you're doing. If you're curious to learn more about those 4 things. That's not just a quick blurb of me going over them. We do have a resource on our website that you can check out. You'll also see there how Shopping Gives is kind of answering for those questions and how you're covered as far as must-haves go. All right, now onto the good stuff. So we're going to touch on how you can take a 360 approach to social impact in your social media. So the 4 main places we'll focus is on organic authenticity, emotion-based segmentation, personalization, and then of course, measurement as a brand. That's very important. My personally very close to my heart is authenticity. As a brand, you're going to want to publish your brand stories and your brand values. This is a great activation to have on an impact page. If you have an About Us page, just add your brand values in there, any giving that you're currently doing. This can be a living document that you add to as your values change or shift. Obviously, with this year being everything that it's been, a lot of brands are working to support COVID-19 relief efforts, Black Lives Matter. There are a lot of different things that you as a brand can be focusing on here. So you want to make sure you're sharing that with your customers and bringing them into that conversation. You want to promote these brand stories on your in your social media as well. Work with your team if you're a newer brand or if you're a brand that's not really explored CSR in past. Talk to your team about what matters most to them. They're your number 1 brand advocates. There are probably a couple micro influencers in there. They're going to support the brand goal if it aligns with theirs. And at the end of the day, no brand is made up of just one voice. So really bring your team into the conversation of where you want to be giving, what's most important to you, and then of course, share that on your social media pages. You can see here Kenneth Cole on the left, the face of Kenneth Cole. He was obviously sharing about Mental Health Coalition when they were doing an activation for Mental Health Month. On a smaller scale, you know, you can do this with other members of your team. It's a great way to kind of bring them into that conversation and just be a more honest and true brand. And then of course, giving activations are not focused solely on their awareness months. So you don't only have to talk about Pride during June. If it's something that matters to your brand, speak about it honestly and often. So you can see Golf Teeny here on the screen is passionate about breast cancer awareness. Their founders have a close tie to an experience with it. So they're always giving back and they're always sharing about their giving. Mentioning that pivot, Kenneth Cole here has shared that they were donating to COVID-19 relief efforts back in March when it was just picking up and becoming more prominent. They wanted to be part of the brands who were creating change and advocating for positive relief. Okay, and moving straight into emotion-based segmentation. So 83% of millennials say it's important for the companies they buy from to align with their beliefs and values. So if you have your brand values and your customers have theirs, how can you align those values or even acquire more customers who are going to have values that align with yours? For one, nonprofits and their cause affinities are going to amass colossal followings. So if you are going to be working to end hunger or provide relief for wildlife or fight for LGBTQ rights, look to the interest sizes on social media to find your customers and to target customers who might have an relationship with the nonprofits that you're going to be choosing to give back to, or on a larger scale, just the cause category that you're going to be giving back to. How this could look is that you take and target audience segment, in this case, Feeding America, personalize an ad for that segment. If you don't have permission to use those logos, as we mentioned before, this ad could say something like, "You shop, we donate to support the fight to end hunger," a larger sort of bucket language for them. And then that ad should dynamically take them to a set cause on your website. If you're only giving back to one cause, this of course won't be something you need to worry about. But if you're wanting to run several campaigns with several different cause choices, make sure the option to choose that cause is available on site so that your customers can see that. If they want to support hunger relief, they're able to do so on site. A smaller segment of emotion-based segmentation is impact influencers. This is one of my favorite tactics that we have. So Influencers are obviously going to be very vocal, not only about the causes that matter to them, but everything that they share online, and their customers are going to have, or their followers rather, and their subscribers are going to follow them for those reasons. A lot of influencers will already have nonprofits they believe in and support, or potentially already work with nonprofits. So you as a brand, to strengthen those relationships and to make stronger brand advocates, can actually donate to those causes on behalf of your customers or on behalf of your influencers if you're going to be giving a portion of sales. So everyone's strategy for influencers is different. And of course, you can take this and play with it as you need to. But if you have an onboarding process for your influencers, ask them to choose a cause in that process. Pick the cause that matters most to them, whether it's where they got their puppy from or something that they experience on a day-to-day basis. And then provide them with a link that takes their followers, subscribers to your brand site to then support whatever cause it is that they chose in the first place. You'll be able to acquire customers that way, see which influencers are having the most impact-driven customers coming in. This is a great strategy year-round, but especially as we head into holiday and the season of giving, if you have a robust influencer program, you might want to include impact in that, as it is the season of giving in a time that your customers are probably going to want to see you doing more good. If you want a place to start, this is great. If you have an existing influencer program, you're able to build on that. One of the examples we have from our partners, this is Hannah Bronfman. She worked with the CBD partner we have, Highline Wellness. So she is a fitness and wellness influencer, very vocal about voter rights. Thank you for the point too, Derek, to vote. Everyone, please register to vote if you're in the States, or if you need to do an absentee ballot as a quick aside. But she's very vocal about voter rights. She's very vocal about Black Lives Matter. So she wanted to donate a higher amount on the products that she did in collaboration with Highline Wellness to Black Lives Matter causes and racial injustice causes, fighting racial injustice causes. So then she was able to post and share with her followers that 25% of what was getting put into those bath bombs was actually being donated to the 4 causes that they chose together. So this is a great way, again, if you want to include your influencers and have impact as a message strategy in social media, this is a great place to start. Finally, moving on to personalization. So if you have customers who are already impact focused and giving with you, we touched a little bit on it before, but if you as a brand decide that you want to give back to several different cause umbrellas, let's say ending hunger, saving the planet, and ending animal abuse, you can have those choices for customers and then take that customer segment based on who they supported or what cause they supported and break them into audience pools so that you can then retarget them based on the choice and cause that they made previously. So while you're also running that, this is a very helpful way to see, if you have the largest number of customers are giving back to end hunger, you can inform other parts of your CSR mission as a brand. So if you have retail stores and you want to do canned food drives, if your team wants to do a food pantry packing, it's a way to kind of build that strategy around what matters to your customer and show that what matters to them matters to you as well, and build that alignment as well. So now let's get into measurement. Of course, all of the business-minded people out there are going to want to see how this impacts bottom line. But I first want to touch on talking about the good that you're doing. It's not enough to just tell your customers, we want to know if you guys are actually making an impact. So when you say to your customers, X% of every purchase goes back, make sure you're bringing them into that conversation to say how much has actually gone back. On the left, you can see sort of an evergreen strategy. This was a company that wanted to share about every 2 weeks how much money had been raised in order to fight against COVID-19. If your company doesn't want to do that and you rather have smaller strategies here and there for different causes, you can opt for what Ursa Major did, where you can kind of wrap up a social giving initiative by sharing the good that you did. So in May, they were planting trees, and at the end of May, they shared how much they actually were able to give, which is a great way to bring your customer back into that conversation and close the loop of your giving. Again, you can also think of these as journal entries while your impact page is the library. If you guys are doing a bunch of different social giving strategies, and you've raised money or planted trees or done whatever you have, you might want to add that to your impact page so that your customers can see all the good that you're doing as it builds. From a bottom line perspective, you want to measure the impact of impact back to bottom line. So we like to call it RODS, our playful little spin on return on ad spend, return on donation spend. So how much are you making for every dollar donated? We've had customers who've seen lifts in conversion rate up to 19%. AOV lifts can range anywhere from 23 up to 30 as well. And then we actually had a partner who had an increase of 18% lifetime value in their multiple times donating customers when compared to their average customers. You can take and add Google Tag Manager event tracking to pass through to analytics so you can get a look at how your impact-focused customers compare to those who aren't engaging with impact at all. You can see across the board, conversion rate is higher, AOV is higher, and this is kind of how you can calculate that RODS number. And then with Shopping Gives, if you choose to give back with us, you do have access to a dashboard that will show you AOV lift at a glance, as well as customer engagement with your giving strategy. You also have full ability to see the amount that you've donated. So if you wanted to share that with your customers, you have complete freedom to do so. So to recap, the ways that you can include social impact in your social media. Firstly, organic authenticity wins. Make sure that you're as honest as possible. Customers have way more access to information now than ever before. So they'll be able to tell if you guys are kind of pandering or if this is a true strategy that matters to you. So really take the time to build one that aligns with your brand and means a lot to your team and your customers. Then emotion-based segmentation, whether that's through nonprofit groups or working specifically with influencers to create impact. Personalizing, retargeting campaigns to customers who have shopped with you based on the causes they supported. And then always taking a look back to measure both your impact and your business from impact. If you're looking to explore more with Shopping Gives, we do have integrations on Shopify as well as other commerce platforms, including Magento, BigCommerce. We manage donations end to end, so all the way from collection through disbursement. 100% of the money you raise that will be donated to nonprofits will get to that nonprofit. And then we work with you to take a look back at your data and your business so that you can grow that cause marketing strategy, how we can work together to earn you more money so that you're able to give back more. We're already working with some top D2C retailers like the ones listed here, but we're always looking to grow our giving economy. We want to be able to use retail as a vehicle for change and for positive improvements and to raise money for nonprofits. But I won't talk too much about us. You can always check us out on our website or on our socials. Feel free to reach out to me, but thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I liked kind of running through this with you, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you're seeing come through, Derek.
So amazing, and thank you so much. Yeah, and again, in integrating cause marketing into your business, as we just saw, not just good for the world, can be good for your overall bottom line and revenue. And as I've said in the past, if you can't make it work for your business, then I don't like non-sustainable, it's important to give back as an individual, but as a company, I think it always has to work with the business. And it doesn't have to necessarily be the most profitable decision you make, but it has to work within the business model. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's just a one-off or a small donation or something here and there. And so with a platform like yours, we're really empowered to find a way to work this into our business model. And for the more advanced or larger stores out there thinking about this, maybe you're doing a few million a year and you're like, oh, I'd love to do this, but I can't just execute on this today. You could split test using a tool like this and using certain on-site messaging components where user A is seeing the give back component built in and user B is not. And from there, you can test how it impacts conversion rate and margins, and then compile a fancy report and present it to your boss, and then hopefully, most likely, if done appropriately, either tweak it to make it work, or you'll be able to see that it works. I think I think that's how I would go about it if I was somebody thinking about using shopping gives.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've done that several times before. We're happy to test. Obviously, we're like very, very focused on impact and something that matters to us, but we know that businesses are in business to make money. So happy to test and see how your customers compare with impact versus without as well.
I love it. And at the end of the day, I think, there's an intangible result too of just like, how, like you might not see it in maybe your acquisition or conversion rate doesn't change, but your retention might skyrocket. So pay close attention to some of those surrounding metrics that are a little bit tougher to track. And as we saw in earlier sessions, we talked about advertising having a trailing effect on long-term conversion rate, people coming in after 28 days or within 28 days from seeing an ad. And you can expect the same kind of effect with cause marketing, where it has an initial impact on somebody, and then it strengthens that relationship with them. And so over time, you'll see that they go with you instead of somebody else. I love it. Really quick, while I have you here, what's in the future for Shopping Gives? I want to know the next coolest feature that I'll be able to announce to people.
Oh gosh, I hope I don't get in trouble for sharing anything. We have a lot of exciting things coming up in the way of brands being able to support several causes at one time, depending on product. So, special collections if you guys wanted to give back to a certain nonprofit on one item versus another, and then making it easier to share your impact, ways for us to actually display on site the ability or the amount that customers have.
Are you saying social proof, incorporating social proof components and review tools in some ways?
Well, at the moment, we currently have the ability for retailers to see the amount donated, but we want to share that with customers too. So like I said, we want to add
a real-time widget to show how much money is being given back. Yes, exactly. It's going to be great. I love it. Yeah. I love the platform. I love everything you're doing. So thank you so much for joining us today. Ronnie screams yacht po.
Ronnie, yes, okay. We're able to do loyalty points. If your customers want to give back and they're already signed up with you using your loyalty points, you can redeem points for donations or earn points when donating. So just adding a little bit more incentive there to do good with your customers.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. I'll go ahead and I'll let you head out as I just quickly wrap up day one with everybody here today. Thanks, Savannah.
Thank you.